Ah, my ears. We got ourselves some delicious iced tea, lemon iced tea. This one is so good. But other than that, we also have a whole new set of SCPs to read, which is the 1460 SCPs. 10 of them, of course, like always. I drank my Chi Fuel very early on, so I should be wide awake and active for this. I also have a new keyboard with a little armrest, so my microphone is now over there. I want you guys to be honest with me and tell me in the comments if it sounds a little bit different than usual, like if it sounds too far away, or if it sounds perfectly fine. I'm going to try to keep speaking in a loud voice too, because whenever I edit the videos, I always realize it's just a tiny bit quiet. And now, how about before I start reading Dreamwalker, you know what I'm going to say. You know what I'm going to say. Secure the subscribe button. Contain the like button and protect the comment section, because we're gonna dive right in, baby. We're gonna dive right in. I also have the chat on the right here, so sometimes I will look over there just to see if anybody says anything. But the SCP readings are usually just me alone, which kind of sucks. But you know, you have to keep at it to grow. You have to keep at it to grow. That's the same as the channel. So. Dreamwalker is Euclid. SCP-1460 is kept in a standard human... We have to always test. Good, it works. Okay, one more time. SCP-1460 is kept in a standard humanoid containment cell site. Contact or experimentation with SCP-1460 outside of standard medical care may only be performed with prior permission from at least 2 senior research personnel. SCP-1460 is to be administered a pentobarbital / thiopental regimen daily. No, that's not the case anymore. Until further notice, use of medication outside of that required for basic medical care has been suspended. Elements of Mobile Task Force Gamma 5 Red Herrings have been deployed to the areas affected by SCP-1460 and have standing authorization to administer amnestics as necessary to maintain secrecy and minimize disruption of the civilian population. Okay, so it does affect people outside of the containment. Or it could. I also want to say one thing. The last SCP I read was 1459, the puppet machine. That's definitely gonna be the longest video of SCP on YouTube. I want to say one thing real quick, which is it's because in the other back then when I uploaded the whole thing in bulk, I never dared to record the experiment logs after the math. Yeah, is that a correct way of saying that? Because I was like, there's not enough time. I don't want to do that. It's gonna make that one bulk video be 7 hours long instead of 3 or 2. But now that I'm uploading them each individually, it's a lot more fun to actually do that and a lot more meaningful. So it's kind of funny seeing all the other videos were between 10 and 20 minutes, potentially some of them a half an hour, to now a 3.5 hour video coming out in late June, I believe. I think that's that's when it comes out. So yeah, it's just, I'm really excited to now be able to actually invest more time in the experiment logs as well and add that, especially because a lot of the videos will come down months afterwards, so I don't have to worry about being late. I could literally just have these videos in the back burner the whole time. I could upload SCP-1458 and then SCP-1460 on the given time and then leave one day open just for me to record the experiment logs for that, and then weeks later upload that by itself. So I think it's a good system that I have here where of course the daily uploads is crazy because at the end a lot of the SCPs that you guys will see I have read months ago after a while. But okay, here we go. Let's read what SCP-1460 does while I take a quick sip of my lemon iced tea. I don't know what it is about this that just feels so much more delicious than the regular lemon iced tea. So, I don't know. It's just delicious. Okay. SCP-1460 is a 32-year-old male Asian American identified as redacted. Do I have to write? Oh, I'm not sure if that's oh, wait, hold on. Interesting, it has both on. I hope that works. Oh well. A former resident of the city of... Also, the fact that the mic is over there now, it helps me having a bit more freedom with my hands over here. USA. SCP-1460 has been in a coma for the past 8 years, of which the last 7 have been in the Foundation care, as a result of a traffic accident in which a public transit bus struck and critically injured SCP-1460 while he was walking to his place of employment. SCP-1460 was transferred to a regional hospital due to a lack of appropriate trauma facilities at the local hospital, and came to the Foundation's attention following multiple discrepancies found during a routine review of a hospital medical records. So that will, I guess, Dreamwalker already makes sense because he's out. But now let's see what he can do. We now know he's been in a coma for 8 years, which is not an anomalous thing. A lot of people can be in comas for quite some time. So let's see what the anomaly effect is though. Despite SCP-1460's condition, individuals involved in his daily life has reportedly been in contact with him during the entirety of the interval which he has been comatose and are not aware of his current condition. Wait, so individuals involved in his daily life have reported being in contact with him. Do you mean people who take care of him in his condition, or people that he knew in his daily life, like his mom, his father, best friends? Is that what they're trying to say? So they're like, because that would make more sense if it was like the latter. Because if it was the family and friends saying like, oh, we never knew he was in a coma, or they probably still don't know he's in a coma. They probably don't think he is because they are communicating with him right now, which. That is actually a really interesting thought. Imagine your physical body is in a coma, but somehow you are still talking and working together with people who are close to you. And then they will never know that you are in a coma because they still perceive you to be there. like you could be in a coma in the middle of nowhere in the forest. Of course, that would not be the case because then you actually die. Because like, people in a coma have to be, fed via the IV tubes to stay alive. But I'm just saying, he could be like in a coma for like a week in the forest somewhere, and nobody would know that that's the case. They would just think he's still talking to you. Although there's a complete lack of cooperation from locally available surveillance footage, friends and families have reported that SCP-1460 has lived for the last 10 years in a low-income apartment inn and has been employed at a local supermarket for the same duration, where work is done that is attributed to SCP-1460. Furthermore, records of bank transaction ATM usage are periodically registered which are attributable to SCP-1460, which also do not appear on bank or ATM surveillance video, despite cooperation from bank employees regarding SCP-1460's activities. So everybody thinks he's still kicking. Well, okay, I should not say still kicking, because still not kicking means he's dead. He's still active, he's still doing things. Even the bank are like putting money or keeping money safe for him, or gaining money and putting money out and so on and so forth. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's the case. I guess as the Foundation, the only thing you can do is, just keep the body, I guess, until it wakes up. If it ever does. And yeah, we know that they're using amnestics, so I guess they just have to like make them forget that he works places. But how do you gonna do that if on a daily basis he goes there? Well, yeah, no, daily basis, most likely. Addendum 1, extra from interview 3B. Mrs. L.H., mother of SCP-1460, interview Agent E, on the cover. Thank you for your time, Mrs. H. We'd just like to ask you some quick questions about Redacted. Oh, the sure thing. What do you remember about when he was released from the hospital? Oh, we were so relieved to be able to finally get him out of there. He hadn't really talked the entire time he was in there. You see, so we were really glad. Do you remember which day you picked him up exactly? Of course it was... Come to think of it, I can't remember what day it was. I must have been so concentrated on making sure it was okay that I didn't really pay attention to anything else. Okay, so there's a gap in the memory. Because he never left the hospital. So... That's... I use the word creepy for two different things. Creepy as in scary and creepy as in unsettling. The idea that you as a family and maybe even a friend came to pick him up from the hospital and are considered, like you think from your perspective that you took your son, your best friend, your nephew, your and grandson, whatever, you know, out of the hospital and you went home while his body is still there. That is, for me, that's creepy. That's the creepy, unsettling way, not creepy in the scary way. I think it's just unsettling. The idea that because it almost feels like an imposter, you know, even though it's not the case. It's still you, but your actual physical body is still there, just laying there. While everybody else thinks that your physical body is walked out. Addendum 2. Except from interview 9A. Mr. G. V. General Manager of Redacted Supermarket, H&E, undercover. What can you tell us about Redacted? You want to know about... He's alright, kinda quiet, sticks to himself. Shows up on one time every day, does his job recently, doesn't stick out, but definitely not the worst kid I have. Okay, so he doesn't stick out. That's important to know because it makes him less observable. As in, like, people don't pay attention to him as much because... yeah, which means that, like, the fact that his physical body is still at the hospital is less suspicious. He just walks in, does his job, is quiet, and leaves. So people will not pay attention to him. He's kind of like a Kuroko from Kuroko no Basket. Like he won't notice he's there until he says something. And in this case, he doesn't say anything. So people will just ignore him and just not pay attention to him. Has he exhibited any strange behavior since this accident? I mean, has he been acting strange in any way? No, not really, just a normal guy. He's not in any kind of trouble, is he? No, sir. This is just a confidential follow-up on behalf of the hospital. Okay, well, if you want to talk to him, he should be here in about half an hour or so. Incident log 3. On. Approval was given to administer a pentobarbital thiopental regimen to SCP-146 in order to induce a deeper comatose state. Within a week of doing so, local Foundation agents report a sudden onset of mass confusion in individuals affected by SCP-146-0. The experiment was suspended shortly afterward and Class B amnestics administered as necessary. Further attempts to suppress or neutralize SCP-146-0 have also been suspended indefinitely. So that's why that was crossed out, because it caused... Interesting. So everybody who was then... It was just making things more complicated for the Foundation, basically. That's why they stopped doing it. Because at the end, you know... Oops. I should first... Sorry about that. Here we go. Now I can... There we go. Yeah, the Foundation must have just... It was way too complicated for them to... to control it if... Literally every single person that was aware of the SCP person suddenly has like conflicting feelings. Like, yeah, it would just make the whole keep it a secret part much harder, and you can't amnesticize everybody because they will keep remembering he existed. Like even if you try to erase memories of him completely, he still exists. Like his whatever spiritual thing that they're talking to or interacting to. It's not even spiritual. It's just like whatever. I don't even know how to call that. It's not a ghost. It's not a soul, because it still physically does things. So I guess like I don't know. I don't know what to call that. I guess it's a doppelganger, but it's like a doppelganger that's you. It's not like somebody who happens to look like you. It's somebody who is you. But yeah, as I was saying, like you can't amnesticize everybody to forget about them, by that person, because that person's still gonna go to that home and still gonna go to the work, and then they're gonna be like, well, who's this? It's just gonna cause too much confusion. So it's better to make everybody believe that he is well and okay, and just keep the real body healthy and safe. I assume if the body dies, some mass problem will occur that the Foundation will not be able to control. I assume that's